We have no specific government definition of the term and little control over its use. That could change soon. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is now seeking public input on the use of the word natural.
She's known as Miss Sunshine. She brightens the day of everyone she meets. She tells stories, she loves a good laugh, and her personality holds the key to turn around even the worst day for her friends. But her story goes way beyond just her encouraging spirit. While always staying positive, she's faced many challenges her peers have not. For the next half hour, join us as we tell the story of no one like Maria, the story of Miss Sunshine.
I was about a week from my due date, and I'd gone for one of my checkups, and when they checked me to see if I was in position for delivery, they thought I was breech. And when they did an ultrasound, though, they realized that I wasn't breech and that her head was way too big than what it should be. And so the doctors talked us, pulled us into the office, and or me, and we called Woody and to let us know that something wasn't right and that we would need to go to Memphis. That they felt like that she had a condition called hydrocephalus, which is too much fluid on the brain, and that her head was much too big, and that she would require surgery. So it was about a week from my due date. So.
Maria was born in Memphis on July 13, 1992, as the first child to Woody and Beth Tatman. Unlike their friends, the Tatmans had a different experience with their first child.
Next day when we went on to Memphis that night, and then the next day when they did a lot of the testing, we had a lot of support from families and the church and stuff that came to hear the results. And then they scheduled us for surgery for that next Monday. So this was on a Friday, and by Monday they were going to take her C-section. I remember you waiting outside the waiting room. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I almost missed it.
Yeah, they were let Woody come in. They did let Woody come in, and the doctor pulled Woody in at the last minute, so he got to be there for the delivery.
Hydrocephalus is a clear fluid that surrounds the brain and spinal cord. The condition creates potentially harmful pressure on the tissues of the brain. Researchers say hydrocephalus develops in 2 out of every 1,000 babies.
Maria has cerebral palsy. She has a shunt in her brain because she gets fluid on the brain. Maria is legally blind, which means that she sees some, but not a lot. Maria has intellectual disabilities because of the traumatic brain injury from when she was born. So Maria has had 6 brain surgeries. She's overcome a lot, and she perseveres all the way through it.
For Maria, the hydrocephalus caused extra pressure to be put on her eyes in utero, causing the loss of her eyesight. Additionally, Maria received a regulatory shunt made of sturdy yet flexible plastic tube. The shunt regulates the amount of fluid that collects on the brain and spinal cord. On top of these issues, Maria has also had physical challenges that required immediate attention.
I guess we probably started taking her in for assessments at about 6 weeks. Now, we didn't start therapy on a regular basis at that time, but they did start watching.
Additionally, the Tatmans used hippotherapy as a supplement to traditional physical therapy. The Tatmans also have another daughter, Leah, who is 3.5 years younger than Maria.
We're pretty much always together. You know, we go camping or we go on a trip, and so we just, try to be as, I hate to use the word normal, but as involved and active and equal. And whatever Leah was in, we'd all go to that event, and and if Maria was in something, Leah would go the same. So Leah really didn't know, when you're in the environment, you don't know anything different. That's how you raise. So, and I think it's really played into Leah's development on whom she is developing into and what she's interested in and involved in. I think it's really played a part in molding her into those nurturing, caring type, tendencies.
Like other sisters, the two are typical siblings with fun and disagreements.
We had a strong relationship when we were growing up, but there were times when we'd bicker a lot. I'd do this, she'd do this, or whatever. But now that we're older, we know better, and we just don't do much of that anymore.
Yet, unlike regular sister relationships, Maria needed extra attention.
It did kind of stand out, and stuff that Maria did get a lot of attention early on. And that was something we kind of worried about a little bit with Leah, and plus Maria required a lot of attention when it came to schoolwork. After work and school, we came home and really had to work with Maria a lot. But as they grew older, Leah's really become her advocate.
For Maria, growing up was not the same as for others her age. Most children and teens don't experience the health issues she has. Because of this, Maria often related better to those in the older generation, like the 3 Jackson natives she befriended at church, the Poole sisters.
We first met them, I worked with one of the Poole sisters, Merle, at the hospital. And so, and they also went to our church. But Merle was a pediatric nurse who had rheumatoid arthritis, who had gotten to the point where she couldn't be a pediatric nurse anymore. But when I had Maria, she was definitely a source of information and support for me, and helping me in, taking care of Maria. In fact, when we had our first shunt malfunction, Ms. Poole came to the hospital in Memphis and stayed with Maria so I could get out and take a break, take a walk. As Maria was growing up, they'd have her birthday parties and they'd have tea parties. But the tea parties were regular. I mean, they'd
have both girls over.
Yeah, that's right. Both of them would come, and but they had birthday parties for both of them as well. But that relationship just kind of grew from that. We do regular visits. Of course, like I said, Merle was very disabled from her rheumatoid arthritis. It was from juvenile, and so she was on a walker and had braces. So Maria had a bond to her, and then Pat, one of the older sisters, had macular degeneration, so she was going blind. So Maria had that connection with her. And losing her sight, and so they always shared that. But the Poole sisters were very great with including both the girls, and it was a give and take. The girls sometimes, like one time at Christmas, they planned a meal, and they dressed up as waiters and servers and ordered from the spaghetti store, and Leah and Maria were the hostess and the waitress, and served them dinner and dressed up and did entertainment and stuff. So it went both ways. I think the Poole sisters definitely enjoyed them, and the girls really enjoyed their time with them. When Maria graduated, though, she wanted a picture of Merle and Pat, and she's in the center. She's put her graduation picture in the center, and Merle's the nurse, who was a nurse on one side, and Pat on the other side, and she carries it where she goes.
When I was a baby, they became a part of my life, and as I was growing up, I found out that the 2 of them that were disabled like me, I had a lot in common with them, and I was in a relationship with them, a friendship relationship with them, until by the time I was 13 and 17 that they died, and I was just heartbroken.
For some, the easy road would be to give up, or at least give in to a handicap. That's not the case with Miss Maria. Maria refers to herself as the Sunshine Storyteller, who loves being around other people. But the name is not only self-proclaimed. As a familiar face to Jackson-Madison County area, Maria is a local celebrity.
I'll be happy to shine a light in your bright eyes.
You don't even sort of recognize how much she's overcome. She's just living life, and to just the pure joy, the positive disposition. You see her posting things on Facebook and social media that you're just like, I needed that. I'm glad someone said it, and Maria's often the person saying it.
It's like, spend a day with her, and then you're going to find you don't have as much to gripe about as you do when you see that, hey, here's somebody who every single day she's being the best she can be.
Despite the hills she's had to climb, Maria never allowed setbacks to dampen her spirit. While most young people with a history such as Maria Tatman's would struggle to find something positive in life, however, the daily grind of living is never too difficult for Maria, who always finds something to be happy about. Maria is different. She has friends, fun, and memories. Despite the challenges life has thrown at her, Maria takes every opportunity with a smile. For Maria's parents, that sunny disposition has lightened the load of their daughter's medical challenges. Others see her positivity as inspirational.
We are afraid of what's different from us. And it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're standing on those discussions. People who are very different from us put a little bit of fear in us. And it's because we don't know how to respond. And to answer your question, and I know I've gotten a roundabout way on it, but to answer your question, I would say to people who are nervous or afraid about speaking with someone with disabilities, Maria would be the greatest person in the world for you to meet to get over that.
School years was a struggling time. So even though there were good moments during there was a lot of hard moments there. So I would say the moments that we have.
It's an accumulation of everything that led up to Union, and now she'd be able to kind of put everything into play and actually perform and be independent. Where prior, I mean, she wasn't. I mean, she graduated high school, she did a little part-time stuff with the Star Center as her storyteller, but sat at the house. She did the laundry, she did the dishwasher, and she rocked and watched TV and read her books, but she was there all day by herself, and so we were just kind of spinning. And so when I first learned about Union, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. When we told her about it, it was about, 3 years outside of high school. I mean, she came unglued. She says, I am not going to school. I mean, she stomped her feet, threw a hissy fit, and I was just like, oh, that's not what I was expecting. It took a good week or two to kind of get things worked around for her to kind of see what the picture of it really was. Her mindset was high school, and that was really challenging. I mean, it was like I said, it was all day at school and then all night. Oh my gosh, it was just homeschooling all over again. It was very challenging. So now, I mean, she would never want to leave.
I have never heard Maria Tatman whine about anything. Everything you ask of her, she greets you with a smile and a yes ma'am. And I love that about her.
Every morning I would hear her rocking chair. She would sit in her rocking chair pretty much any time she was in the dorm. If she was hanging out there for any amount of time, she would sit in her chair and she would have her iPad. And it usually, eventually I had to ask her to start using earbuds, but she would play her music really loud, and it was always songs about sunshine, because that's her thing. And so I would hear her rocking chair, and thankfully it was around the time that I was supposed to get up anyway, so I woke up to that, and she would be singing. So even when she did start using earbuds, you could still hear her singing, which actually was my preference. I like to just be able to hear her sing.
You almost never see Maria without a smile. She's always ready with an encouragement for others. She's an inspiration to those who know her and those who meet her as an acquaintance.
Maria is one of the most inspirational students that I've ever taught or met in my entire life. She never appears to be having a bad day. She is willing to tackle any task that you put in front of her. She literally brings joy. She brings sunshine to everyone that she meets. And you don't see that in very many people. And I've developed this incredible, deep respect and love for her because I would like to be more like Maria. Maria, we all know the song from The Sound of Music, What Should We Do About Maria? And I've often thought, wouldn't it be cool to play that little scene where the nuns are talking and they say, Maria makes me, and then have these faces just go, laugh, smile, praise, because she makes you do all of those things because she's just so energetic, happy.
Despite the physical and mental obstacles in her way, Maria developed an uncanny ability to memorize. Maria's parents realized this ability was a great gift. They watched as she used this gift to tell stories to all from memory. Maria has demonstrated her talents with children and even in front of civic clubs.
As we were talking about, Maria is legally blind. Therefore, she cannot read stories to people from a book. But Maria is a fabulous storyteller. And the Star Center had helped her with introducing her to people at different schools and things. Her memory, her long-term memory is phenomenal. She is able to memorize and quote books like no one I've ever met before.
With a dream to become a professional storyteller, her memory and cheer never fails to captivate her audience with over 500 crowd favorites ready at hand.
I'll only tell you a few. The Little Red Hen and a couple of Aesop's Fables and then Shel Silverstein.
As a child, Maria benefited from the work of Jackson's Star Center, which helps handicapped children and adults realize their full potential. Eventually, she was given the opportunity to work at the Star Center and read stories to children. That's where she first met Jennifer Graves, head of the Union University EDGE program.
I moved to Jackson, to Union, to take the position of director of the EDGE program. And the very first week that I was on campus, I went to the Star Center to meet with their director, Dave Bratcher. As I was walking down the hallway, this young woman walks up to me and says, "Hello, I'm Maria Sunshine Tatman," and handed me her business card. And it had her name and professional storyteller and a big bright sunshine on the card. And she looked at me and she said, "I'm going to be at the EDGE program with you, Miss Graves." I said, "All right." I didn't even have an application completed yet.
Maria Tatman is now able to get around by herself, have a job, and even attend college. The purpose of the EDGE program is to open the door for people with stories similar to Maria's to have the opportunity for a college experience. In the EDGE program, students are given the opportunity to choose a variety of courses to fit their interests. Maria asked to study broadcast journalism. Since storytelling is the essential part of journalism, the course seemed to be a perfect fit.
First met Maria when it came to the fact that the EDGE program was looking for opportunities for students that could match their talents and abilities. And so the people with the EDGE program came to talk to me about Maria, and so then her father brought her over for a day. We spent about an hour here on this very set, and we talked to her first, and then what I did is I gave her some sample things to look over, because there were some things that we did have to navigate through before we were really sure that she would be the right fit for studio work here in television.
Maria immediately demonstrated her ability to memorize by doing health reports on new developments in the medical world. Why do doctors think this is happening?
Younger women tend to get back into their daily routines and feel as if they're going to be okay without taking the medication. Dr. Karen Humphreys supervised this research. She says doctors say they need to treat younger women more aggressively, especially if they have medications that work.
Now let's shift gears to the subject of cancer. You'd get the idea that people who survive cancer would be fanatically healthy eaters, but a new study is telling us otherwise. What about that?
They actually eat a little worse than people who never had cancer. We found this out from a survey of more than 1,500 adult cancer survivors.
Maria just blew us all away with her ability to do that.
The spread of Maria's joy did not remain unnoticed for long. Union University President Dub Oliver and First Lady Susie Oliver met Maria early on during her time at Union.
I first met Maria at the ice cream social, at our home. We have that for all the incoming students, and I knew about the EDGE program, had heard about it, was excited to meet the students, and remember she was just very outgoing and fun, and just walked right up and said who she was, and then was with a group of students the whole time. So
Jennifer Graves had invited me to say the prayer to bless the meal before the event, and she said, okay, it's time to gather and pray. And Maria just took charge. She's like, okay, let's pray. And prayed the prayer. And it was awesome because Jennifer was like, I thought I'd asked the president to pray. And, she's apologetic to me. I was like, no, that's totally fine. To have someone sort of jump in and say, no, I want to offer a blessing for this time and this meal was really sweet and really fun.
Later, Jennifer invited us to the first dinner they had, in which they introduced the students and their parents.
To begin the night, I think one of the professors was to pray, and I remember Maria speaking up and saying something about going ahead and praying, or anyway, she ended up praying, and it was mesmerizing, and I wish I could say the very things that she said, but she was captivating during that prayer too, and it really had us.
Touched everybody there.
It touched everybody.
We were in tears half the night.
While each EDGE student can take area-specific classes, other classes involve practical skills. In the fall of 2015, Susie Oliver taught a cooking class which involved Maria. Maria and her friends learned how to develop a shopping list, how to buy groceries, and how to prepare a meal.
It may be that you're in cooking lab and she has just finished a meal, and every single time she's going to look up, she's going to smile and look around, and everybody knows what she's about to say. Well, I'm as full as a tick on a hound dog's back. And we all just laugh and smile. And she knows we're laughing with her because she does it to make us laugh. And that's her goal, to bring joy and sunshine. And she truly does. I can't say that I've ever met anyone other than my own grandmother who inspired me to be a better woman the way Maria does.
Hall where we're going to be cooking this semester. And you know what? We don't have anything in this kitchen, do we? No. Look, our cupboard is bare. And what about the refrigerator, Ethan? Do we have anything over there? No. So we need you. We need your help. Yeah. That's right. We do. Yeah. We're going to have a shower over here at Luther Hall on Friday, August the 28th from 12 to 2. We would love to see you. Come by. Bring us a gift. We'll be registered at Target. You can also bring a Walmart gift card or a Kroger gift card. Any of those things would help us out, wouldn't they? Yeah. We really need you. So we really need you. So let's have some sunshine.
She was the most responsive in the group and just kind of took charge and said, oh, let's say this. And it just was, we just started rolling. We're like, that's perfect. That is just exactly what we're going to do. We're just all going to cook up some sunshine. And, it was her, it's just her spirit that went through. And everybody we'd had a good time. And people are a little tense in the beginning, but you just kind of let down your guard and like, this is a lot of fun.
Maria is not just Miss Sunshine at home or on campus. She's now brightening the lives of visitors at one of Tennessee's top tourist attractions. This is where you now see Maria 4 days a week. She's a greeter at Jackson's famous Old Country store in Casey Jones Village.
I don't know that there'd be anything that you could ever describe Maria that is any more perfect than Sunshine.
Maria Tatman's nickname may be Miss Sunshine, but she could easily also be Miss Inspiration. She could have allowed her difficulties to prevent her from living fully and happily. She chose otherwise. Maria smiles in the face of struggles, and her light will always shine bright.
We met her because of the EDGE program here at Union University. And Jennifer Graves, who leads the program, came to us one day, and she introduced herself. She says, here's what we're doing, a new program we're starting at Union University. It's called the EDGE program, where young people with intellectual disabilities can actually get the campus life experience. And so we have a daughter, Elizabeth, who was actually a Union University graduate as well, but she has a physical disability, so there was an immediate connection there. And then Juanita, You have a brother?
Hmm. I had a brother that was 10 years older than myself, and he had Downs. So I had the privilege of growing up with him and watching my parents be such a part of his life and his education. So it was a natural and a passion that was there already.
In fact, her parents were responsible for the very first public school, education school in the state of Tennessee for folks with disabilities. And so when Jennifer Graves came to us with this program, we said, we're in. And so we see the intrinsic value of everybody. We love everybody because God loves them. And so we love her. And so it was easy.
I would not have, been able to assert my independence without my parents' encouragement.
The vast majority of them want the same things in life. I have a picture of Maria holding up her first paycheck from the old country store. Her parents want her to have a job and be productive, just like your parents do. Her parents want to know that she has sustainable employment and that she's being paid a fair wage.
Mrs. Shaw wanted me to teach her how to play the scrub board and the spoons because that's what Maria wanted to do. So I told Mrs. Shaw I would do it.
Many young people, many people who are older, that would have experienced the kind of physical and emotional issues that she has had to have, would have probably thrown in the towel.
And she just absolutely lights up everyone's life. And of course, she's called Sunshine. And she wears a little necklace that says, "You are my sunshine." And so she introduces herself as, "I'm Sunshine." And so and that's very true.
If you were to go down a dictionary of American slang or nicknames, you couldn't find anyone that would be any more perfect than Sunshine or Miss Sunshine for Maria.
Not only what we can do for Maria, but I really think she's doing more for others. Those that walk in the door, you look at their faces when they see her. And, those that really, I don't know, compassion in their heart. You can just see how much they appreciate her being there.
And don't let your gloominess affect your happy sunshine self.
She's just a fine little lady, so enjoy her music.